Hello, friend. I'm so glad you joined us for this episode. Today, we get to talk about getting healthy this fall with Heather Brown. Heather is an Enneagram 3, a Pure Barre enthusiast, as you'll come to see. And most importantly for you today, somebody who has the goal-oriented gifting to get you on track for your fall. As I was examining the research for Enneagram and marriage, the stuff a lot of you would not want to do, but I was looking through seeing which episode was getting the most traction. It was in a super easy email that Spotify gave me, actually. The episode that had gotten the most traction this term was getting our fall order. And so I thought it would be really fun to have Heather help us in an area where I think a lot of us, like we said, are resorting to AI stuff, are resorting to cutting corners, are resorting to not having time together and just saying, forget it. It's too hard. I'm too overwhelmed. And Heather, with her 3 gifting, gets us back on track with intentionality. Because, and here's the key, she too has experienced the burnout of pushing her personality too far, pushing into the world with ways that don't work, and especially hurting her marriage through that. And she's here today to just say, you guys, it's not worth it. I've got so many tips for you on how to both meal plan and get your weekly check in order with yourself, not just with your partner. So I think that is a beautiful gift to us to see her getting us back on track if we've lost our way a little bit, guys. We are here. It is officially almost October by the time this episode is running. For 2 days, it will already be October. So we are in it and we can use all the help we can get to be real, to be authentic, but to be productive because let's admit it, there's a lot to do this week. And then we're going to be heading back into our more full AI conversation with Amy Wicks and finish out that series this Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to that. And in fact, she's sharing it on her podcast this week too. So you get double the fun with each of us sharing it, and 2 sevens, that's what you get. And today you get a 3 and a 7. So lots of energy, I hope, for your week. I'm so thankful to have this time with you. Let's talk with Heather. Heather, we are so happy to have you on the Enneagram and Marriage podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, I'm honored. Y'all, we were talking before the show and I'm already like, we're gonna have a great time because we have so much in common already, and I'm pumped about it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. You guys know that we need all the resets, all the hacks. Heather, you are perfect for this. You are also a Pure Barre enthusiast, and we already got started to talk about that. So I cannot wait for everybody to hear about you, and they're already learning from before you came on today, but tell everybody about yourself, a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, y'all, I'm Healthy by Heather Brown on Instagram, anywhere you can find me. But, y'all, I honestly just love on women in my community. And I typically do that through my Sunday reset because I just feel like at the pace that post 2020, I mean, really since like post 2000 life, it just keeps getting faster. And it seems like
Mhm.
there's so many more things that we're all layering onto our plates as we, become wives and then become mothers. And then you add on work things or school things, and it just really can easily fill up your plate to the point of overwhelm and where you think, I don't have time to take care of me.
Mhm.
And I had to learn that lesson the really hard way through postpartum depression when I had my first little boy. And
Yeah.
so I really love just speaking into the hearts of women that are overwhelmed the way that I was and don't know how to start with layering in health. And so I just love getting to do that from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm married to my college sweetheart, and
Oh,
I'm a dinosaur blogger. I've been blogging and doing Instagram and social media for close to 15 years now. And then,
man.
yeah, like Krista alluded to, I taught Pure Barre for close to 10 years and I love it.
That is so funny because I was on her page and I was like, man, I love her exercises. And now I know why. You literally helped start one of the local studios in my area. I can't believe it.
So fun, so fun. So shout out to Pure Barre down in Sarasota and Bradenton, all the things. If y'all have gone to Lindsay's studio, that's who opened Pure Barre Birmingham. And they're amazing. So the technique is so good for mind body connection.
Oh my gosh, yes. I was just at a line this morning with my daughter. She's actually training to be a Pure Barre teacher, my type
No
9
way.
daughter. Yes, I'm so excited. So
That's
I
awesome.
love it. So we are really happy that you're here because so many people don't know that, this podcast is a lot of it aimed at couples. And many people do not know what you just said intrinsically. They may know it up here in the head, but to really know it in their fullness of their heart, mind, body, soul, so many women feel guilt. And you alluded to
Mm.
yourself also feeling that guilt of any self-preservation. Now, I know you had said you're an Enneagram 3. Many of our listeners know threes are running, 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 human doings, not human beings. Tell us a little bit about what happened for you to go, I have to do this. I need to take care of me. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Krista, I feel like you'll probably be able to weigh in on this with my husband. So, y'all, just as a little bit of frame of reference, my husband's a 5 on the Enneagram, and I'm a 3, like Krista said.
Yeah.
So, I think that my struggle was, like you said, that I run, run, run. I've always been the Energizer Bunny. Like, that is
Mhm.
just who God made me to be.
Yeah.
But that also leads to the weakness of, like you said, that I can end up running myself into the ground,
Mhm.
and I've really had to learn the hard way that you can't pour from an empty cup. And I think that the Lord has really had to bring me on my knees, that a lot of times I was utilizing and still can fall in the trap of utilizing workouts to
Mhm.
refuel me or
Mhm.
to manage stress versus first and foremost taking it to the Lord.
Yes.
And so when I had my son, now he just turned 10, so I can't
Oh,
believe that. I feel so old saying that. I'm like, I have a double digit kid.
I
Whoa.
know. Yeah. I'm with you, girl.
But yeah.
And
But
much more so,
anyway,
yeah, because I'm older.
no, but you look great, so it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
you do. Thank you.
So anyway, I had my son, and I'm so sorry for the men on this podcast that are listening, but they more than likely are dads and they can deal with it. But I had
Yes.
a fourth degree tear, which is the
Mm.
worst kind of tear that you can have. And so whereas most women are told by their doctor, as soon as you can walk, get outside and walk, like that's a great way, to get sunshine and be outside with your baby and, all the things. And my doctor told me, Heather, you are not allowed to walk past your mailbox
Oh,
for
wow.
6 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
6 weeks, y'all. I was like, that's over a
Oh,
month. Are
yeah,
you
that's a
sure?
lot. For somebody who moves as fast as our temperaments tend to, that's a lot. So that I
Yes.
think everyone who's a fast mover is like, no, how did you do
Yes, exactly. So anyway, all that to say, just a confluence of events that happened. I really struggled with, recovering my body physically, and then breastfeeding was really difficult for me in the beginning. Praise the Lord, I did end up being able to do it, but I accidentally dried myself up by utilizing
it?
cabbage leaves in my bra because I thought people told me that would help with the
Yeah.
pain, but
Yeah.
that actually has properties that can dry up your milk. So if you
I
didn't know
didn't
that,
know.
moms, now you know.
Thank
Um,
you.
so I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah.
I was crying multiple times per day.
Mm.
And I remember my husband telling me, because he is good at rest. Thank God he balances me out in
Yeah.
that. And
Hmm.
he was like, Heather, your only job right now is to rest and
Yeah.
take care of you and the baby. That's all that God has called you to right now.
Mm.
But for me as a 3, I thought, and I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I thought I don't want that to be my only job right now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know that's awful.
No,
Like
that's
at
okay.
hearing
That's so real.
it,
We're allowed to be real here.
yes, okay. So
Mm.
I just thought, but I don't want that to be my only job. I want to be able to move. I want to be able to be back at Pure Bar. I want to be
Yeah.
able to be, on and who I unfortunately had found my identity as Heather Brown, the Energizer Bunny, the Pure Bar
Hmm.
teacher, the
Yeah.
active, the, doing my
Yeah.
blog, hustling, all the things. And so honestly, I think that even when I didn't have the willpower though to get in scripture, because I literally mentally wasn't there, my doctor
Mm.
diagnosed me with PPD, put me on medication, all these things that now I would totally do differently.
Yeah.
But all that to say, I got brought back to ground zero
Mm.
and realized, okay, where am I going to go from here? Because I've never been this low before in my life. I don't recognize myself. My husband probably doesn't even recognize
Hmm.
me.
Yeah.
And we together started talking about what can we do though to help each other out in this season.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I realized that I could start slowly doing was what now is the Sunday reset. And it started out at that time as just I can meal plan. I can drink water. So just like laying those foundations back in that made me feel like I was able, it sounds bad to say this, but that I had something in my
Yeah.
control, as
Yeah.
silly as that
No,
sounds.
no, I get
But the Lord taught me a lot of lessons through that for sure.
Yeah, that's wonderful that you're like, okay, when I gave it over to the Lord and like had to just lay prostrate on my, like just hands and knees before God, which we've all had to do, or pry open our fingers before God and
Mm,
just open our hands. All right, fine. What do you want from me, Lord? I'm having my Jonah moment, right?
yes.
It's so wonderful when God's like, well, I am going to give you amazing things and I am going to give you a better life than you ever knew. Like, don't think that this was just all bad news. And I'm actually helping you. But like you said, you had to start small versus everything on your plate, which we try to do, especially in
Mhm.
this AI world where everything's moving so fast. And we're like, oh, well, I can do it faster. I can do it better. And that's where we're talking about real food, real connection, really actually realistic scheduling today with you because I think that we're all caught up in that dynamic more than ever. Sadly, we thought we would, with all these gadgets and AI things, we thought these hacks will get us farther. But like you're saying, even a type 3 who is probably 10 years ahead of all the rest of us on stuff anyway, really, you're like, no, it burnt me out. But then you got little by little back, and you and your researcher type of husband, I'm so glad you brought in that he's a five because every listener here usually knows fives are so good at helping you to do this micro part, to look at the problem, to see, to sleuth it, to not, when the wall is there, to go through that wall with patience and tenacity. So sounds like the two of you started brick by brick building up to see what you could do. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. And I would say that, I mean, for us, like I said, the first step was, they give you that massive water cup at the hospital. So I was like, okay,
That's right.
every day I'm going to start drinking at least 1 cup of this water. Like that was kind of like my baseline. And
Mm.
then I was so blessed by our family, friends, and church that they offered to do a take them a meal.
Mm.
So then as I started to look at like, what can I meal plan? What do we need from the groceries? I'm making my list for Eric to take to the store and go get or what have you. I would then start on each Saturday or Sunday going, okay, I'm going to look at who's bringing us meals this week because community is so vital for me. I'm an extrovert
Yeah.
three.
Yeah.
And so I started texting those people and being like, hey, I see you're bringing us a dinner on Monday. I'm so excited, so grateful. Is there any way that you could come around 5 p.m. and I would love to have coffee with you before? Or can we do tea
Mm.
before? And
Yeah.
then that was when like, I didn't know it at that time that that
Yeah.
was what the Sunday reset was becoming. But
Yeah.
to me, that was the way that I was starting to build community and a meal plan into my week that started to build back, like you said, brick by brick, the little
Mm.
bit of consistency and scheduling that helped me feel almost more settled. Does that make sense
Mm,
at
oh
all?
my gosh, yes. And it's so beautiful that you brought in the extroverted part because one of our biggest reminders in this community is that we build from that baseline, of course, of rest that you had to learn, but then we start adding in relational care. And I know Abraham Maslow even said, one of the modern fathers of just behavioral life, and he's not God, of course, but people think he leaned a bit self-preservation. And yet, even I just saw a quote from him that I'll probably be putting in my next book is about how he's like, once you have that, you now get to go build relationships. And I was like, oh, good. Even he knew that you
Wow.
can't just stay there on that bottom of that triangle that we all see in school, and you have to move up. And I think that was so needed. You were thirsting for that. But I'm also speaking to the self-preservation inclined listeners and like myself, like Jane Austen's one of my favorite authors, and I talk a lot about her here. And she was very self-pres inclined writing all her books, but she always did those Sunday visits. And so whether you're
Mm.
introverted or extroverted, we all need society. So that's why I love that these listeners can also hear that. And I want to ask you too about the Sunday reset in detail. But before I lose this thought, I wanted to ask you, when we're trying to get meals, and now you've come so far with all these different healthy pieces that we're loving about you. You have this amazing following on Instagram. It's beautiful to see and everywhere. Tell us some of the things we might want to remind ourselves of in terms of eating and planning. I know you couldn't say to all those moms, I have to have this and that. Of course, now people do. Actually, 10 years later, I see people on their baby list saying, like, hey, don't bring me any sugar or we're vegan. So we're getting better about that. But like, what do you remind people to do in terms of meal planning now if they're not feeling that good, if they're tired, if they're sluggish?
Yeah, for sure. So this is what I first and foremost want to say is a lot of times, like I'm afraid your listeners are going to say meal planning. They're like going to be like, fast forward, la la la, like that isn't for me.
Me too.
So
Yes. Don't say it, guys.
yes,
Say
yes.
it. It's real.
Yes. So if you're thinking that, let me take the pressure off first and just
Okay.
say that meal planning is only going to work the way that it works for you. So I can't
Okay.
tell you the perfect thing to do for you and your family, but I can tell you what works well for ours. And I can
Okay.
tell you some things that worked well for us in the beginning when I was like, I don't know how to cook. I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
I literally just snack all day pretty much and literally bought bird's eye voila meals at Publix when they were BOGO because I was like, that's all I know how to
I,
cook, you know?
yeah.
So
I'm with you, except trade that for Hot Pockets.
yeah,
Terrible.
yes, yes. So we all have been at the ground floor before, and if
Yeah.
that's you today, grace upon
Yes.
grace, it's okay. Um,
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. There's so many shoulds. Even I've said it like I shouldn't have done that, but like grace upon grace. I love it. Thank you.
yes, yes. So I would say that ultimately, the less processed food you can eat in general, the more energy you're going to have. So, I'm a really big believer in that God told us how to eat in the Bible and He designed the earth to give us what we need to eat.
Mm.
So, do I eat only that all the time, though? Hear me say no. I still cheat, I still eat random things. But I do believe that the bulk of me and my family's diet should be. And I ask these questions through this lens. Does it have a mother? So is it an animal that he gave us? Did it come from the ground? So it's a, fruit, berry, potatoes, whatever,
Mhm.
real food. And if it's not, then that's probably not something that I want to have consistently in my diet.
Yeah.
And I've found that if I buy those things, even just for my kids or whatever, if they're in the pantry, I have a really hard time saying no.
Yeah.
So as a baseline, I would say try to frame it as like, how does God want you to eat? And be
Yeah.
prayerful about it. That's not up to
Yeah.
me. Like you pray about it. Look for those things that he said to you in scripture and how it speaks to you. But at the end of the day, also, if you're not meal planning now, you can start with just doing what's possible for you. Can you plan one meal a week? Can you
Mhm.
plan 3 meals a week?
Mhm.
Can you even just scribble in when you sit down on your Sunday and say, ooh, I see Tuesday, Thursday are really busy. So I either
Mhm.
need to have a crock pot meal that night
Mhm.
or, you know what, we're getting Chick-fil-A that night. Okay,
Mhm.
great. Write it
Mhm.
down because once you write it down, then you kind of maybe can even think, okay, if I know I'm splurging on Chick-fil-A Tuesday night for dinner, can
Mhm.
I eat a really protein rich, heavy, healthy meal for breakfast and lunch that day to counteract it? It's more
Mhm.
so thinking about holistically making the best choices you can
Yeah.
within your schedule, within your time frame, but not overcomplicating it.
Mhm.
In general, Eric and I cook, I would say 3 nights a week, and we're cooking a ton so that we can have leftovers. Some weeks I might make a big beanless chili pot on Sunday because I know we can eat on that for lunches
Ooh,
or dinners all week long.
so great.
Usually Sunday or Monday night, Eric is going to grill at least 2 types of meat so that way we have variety throughout the week. And then I
Mm.
would say another hack that we do is I either cook a big pot of spaghetti or rice to have on hands for me, the boys. I have 2 boys. Or
Mhm.
maybe like I'm making 8 to 10 sweet potatoes or regular potatoes in the oven. It's
Yeah.
like you don't have to be married to this set, rigid meal plan. And the things that work well for you, just repeat them. That's the easiest thing to
Mm.
me, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I love that you just gave us even some ideas within. You gave us some actual foods that many of us, like me, I'm like, ooh, I have 2 sweet potatoes. I can cook those. And like, so I'm, and plus Chick-fil-A, like, of course, this is like a thing in the South and like becoming a thing in the North too. Like, this is a place where I saw your beautiful reel where you're like, I can get grilled here. I can bring my salad. I can have a small dessert. Like, you are allowing it to be fun and not rob you of those treats. And I think that's one of those things that I love. And especially being a mom of teens, they're baking all the time. They're making food. And my
Oh.
son is 13, so he's a bit older than yours, but he's getting to the age where he is like almost 5'10" out of nowhere. And he's like, starving and he's like baking cookies and I see this rack of cookies out in the morning and I'm like, where did these come from? And he was like, oh, they were, my daughter was like, he baked those last night so they'd be ready in the morning. And I'm just like, okay, I'll have like a bite or two. But like, as you said, I know that's not going to serve me well for the day. And I'm getting to that place where I'm better about seeing that. But I really think that one of the biggest struggles for a lot of us is routine is great, but we also need to shake it up. So I appreciate you saying a little of both. Like it doesn't have to be rigid because I got so sick of like I think 5 to 6 meals I made like in the past 7 or 8 days. And maybe there was a couple of out to eats within that. But I just said to my husband, I am just done. Like I've made everything that I can make this week. And I was like, maybe there's one or two things I could make, but I don't want to go out to eat. I don't want to make the food. So when you hit those moments, what do you tell people like take a step back? Well, that night my husband made paninis because I was like, you said you bought sandwiches at the local grocer. Why don't you just make those? Because I'm just done. And he's like, well, I'll
Yeah.
make them into paninis. But like short of like saying, let me hack it off to somebody else, what can we do when we hit burnout on meals?
Yeah, for sure. I would say that number one, I think that every week we have a clean out the fridge and pantry night. So it's
Hmm.
typically Sunday night.
Good
And
idea.
it's like that way we're utilizing all of our leftovers from the week or anything in the pantry that or the freezer that we've just forgotten about that it's even there. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
I
So
do.
and this is a hack that I've started with my husband is so when I Sunday reset, I always tell people this, and this gets back to marriage too, is that if you and your husband aren't on the same page about the meal plan and what's happening that week,
Hmm.
it I speak from experience. It doesn't go
Yeah.
well. At least it doesn't
Yeah.
in our household
Yeah. Yeah.
because he's like, wait, I, again, being a five, he's like, I only reserved enough energy to get through soccer practice on Tuesday night and Wednesday night, but now you booked us for something on Thursday. What are we doing on
Yeah.
Thursday? And, like it just causes problems.
Yes,
So
100%. Yeah.
after many, many reiterations of the Sunday reset, this is what is working for us currently in this
Yeah.
season. And
Hmm.
sometimes the Sunday reset's more intense when it's like,
Yeah.
we're starting up the school year and soccer starting back and small group starting back. I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, we got to really get tight on the Sunday reset.
Yeah.
But in the summer,
Mhm.
it's more fluid. So I
Yeah.
love that about it. So I'm going to tell
Mhm.
you this is an example from this week. Okay.
Okay,
So I'm getting
perfect.
really in the nitty gritty with
Yes,
you.
I was like, okay, I want to transition into Sunday resets. This is perfect. We want to know about this.
Perfect. Oh, also, and I didn't answer your question. So I said that you can have repeatables that you just always have on hand. I said you can clean out the fridge and freezer and pantry.
Yeah.
The other thing is too that I would just say we always have on hand really easy meals where it's like
Hmm.
I know every week when I go to Publix because I know you're in Florida, you
Yeah.
you probably love a
Yeah.
Publix
Yeah, I
moment.
do.
Whatever salad or rice or veggie is on sale that week at Publix, I'm buying it. Even if
Mm,
I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet, it's better to have extra for lunches or for those
that is
nights when
so
I'm
good.
completely burnt out that I
Yeah.
know I have something to grab for. And especially, oh, and also I wanted to say,
Mm.
because you mentioned this about the cookies, this is something that I'm personally working on, and then we'll get into the text that I send to my husband on Sundays.
Yeah.
But but when you eat that cookie in the morning,
Hmm.
that great. Like live your life and your son made those. And I think that's so special and unique that your son is baking. So props
It
to
is
you, Mama.
so
Good job on that.
He's got two big sisters that are always baking too. So good and bad.
But that's amazing. That's
Yeah, it
amazing.
is. It's so
So
sweet. Yes.
because they're not on devices and you're teaching them
Yeah,
life
I
skills.
know.
So snaps.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you, Mama.
So when you eat that cookie though, I would just encourage you, and because you're the mom, like you're gonna set the tone for your whole household, start educating your kids on like, awesome, let's have the cookie, but let's also do a little protein with it. Because
Hmm.
then you're not gonna set yourself up for that blood sugar spike that then
Yeah.
makes you crash. Because that
Hmm.
protein's gonna help even out your system. And I'm trying to put this like in very layman's terms.
Yeah. Yes.
But like for me, right now I'm in a season where I am just like trying to do the bare minimum to get by, but also eating healthy and tracking macros. And for
Mhm.
me, that means every morning I get up and I grab either a Paleo Valley beef stick or a Chomps beef stick or hard boiled egg to go
Mhm.
and some kind of small carb and protein bar. Like I love that healthy eating on the go bar. So even though I'm getting
Mhm.
a lot of carbs in that, I'm
Yeah.
offsetting that sugar and insulin spike by having the protein too.
Protein. Oh my
So
gosh, that is
does that help?
so, oh my gosh, yes. And I think I used to be such a worse headache sufferer in the past because I don't think I knew that. And I grew up in the 80s where we just had sugared cereal and then you put sugar on top of it and then you were
Yeah.
told to have a glass of orange juice with it and white toast. And so my
Yes.
mom was really a good mom, but like that was what she did. And then thankfully she served like a normal dinner and my dad also cooked well. But I guess I'll just add that yes, I have to have protein in the morning to all listeners. Like I would not be able to do, and I know you as a three, me as a type seven would never be able to do what we do without. So I had two eggs this morning. I think I had a bite of that cookie. Later, I would have more, but my son, he also had two eggs. And even as I have growing teens now, I realize they're going to really need even more. Like he's going to need 3 or 4 eggs. So I love your idea of having things on hand too, and not just like outsourcing everything to AI, but like, no, here we are in an actual grocery store. We're just calming our brains because they're running so fast all the time. We're shopping, we're getting actual food. We're not just rushing everything. You even said a
Yes.
hard-boiled egg, real food. So I love that.
Yes, for sure. So now I'll get into the nitty gritty
Yay.
of our text
Okay.
message that I send him this pretty much every Sunday. And if he doesn't have it by Monday morning, he's like, whoa, what are we doing this week? Like it's become
Mm.
our normal, and I'm so thankful for it. So it says, Eric, here's the meal plan slash Sunday reset for the week. On Sunday, we have supper club at 4. So, like, basically, you don't have to worry about dinner, but you do have to worry about reserving your energy for
Yes.
people to hang out
Hmm.
that night. Okay.
Yep. So good.
Monday night is please. He had told me, we talked about this a little bit prior. He told me that the best night for him to grill out would be Monday night. So I said Monday night, grill out steaks plus sweet potatoes and broccoli. And then we also talked about that he was going to grill chicken thighs. So we'd have two
Mm.
meats to go through the whole week.
Love that.
Tuesday, grilled chicken thighs plus rice. Leighton has soccer. Wednesday, we're doing coconut curry soup. I'm cooking it, small group, and Finn has soccer. So again, I know I'm going to cook that early before I leave for soccer, before I leave for small group, because we just need to have something we can just heat up when we get home at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Thursday is leftovers plus soccer practice. Friday, Eric, can we have a date day? Maybe family dinner out at
Yeah.
Mexican or leftovers and family dinner out Saturday. So it's like, it's not that
Love that.
complicated,
Right.
but I'm saying I need a date day with you. When's it going to make
Yep.
sense,
Yep. I
essentially?
do that
Because
too.
then I need to
Mhm.
know, am I booking a babysitter? Am I going ahead and getting that set up for the week?
Yes.
And sometimes, let's say that a girlfriend had asked, like Thursday night, potentially I was going to go to Mahjong. I'd put
Mhm.
reminder, Mahjong Thursday night. Is it still okay with you if I go? Will you be home in time? Do I need to book a babysitter? But
Mhm.
a lot of times I found that if we talk about it, but he doesn't
Mhm.
have it written down, he's going to forget. So I feel
Mhm.
like if we talk about it, we get on the
That's
same
a really
page,
good
we're communicating
idea.
through the logistics, but then
Yeah.
he also has that to reference back to. And honestly, y'all, so do I. Because a lot of times by Thursday, I'm like, what did I say we were going
Oh,
to
I
have? I don't
know.
remember.
Thursday is rough. Thursday night, particularly. We're all like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
There's like nothing left in the fridge. The meal planning is like done. And so like to have it set like, oh yeah, like that is literally how it feels by Thursday night and everyone knows it. Like, oh
Yes.
yeah. You know? So I'm so
Right, it's
glad that
five
you,
o'clock, and y'all
yeah.
are looking at me like, what's for dinner?
Right. And everyone's like, well, we're probably going to overdo in the weekend. So we want to like be moderate in the Thursday night space, but often it's like there's nothing going. It's bare bones. So thank you for just being real about that. The shards we are walking on by that point, but also like the written really helps you guys to stay on track whenever possible. And that's why I love that you said grace upon grace. So this
Yes.
is so beautiful. And I just think everyone's like, oh my gosh, I have to follow her, see her beautiful energy. We want to make sure we get that. And I just want to clarify. So, if people want to have a Sunday reset, you're saying have some visits, have some rest, text each other your schedule. This is what I'm hearing you say is a beautiful Sunday reset. Is there anything you want to land us with to just say, don't forget this in your Sunday reset before we
Yeah.
share where they can find you?
Yeah, for sure. So I think that one thing that I've really started trying to get back to on my Sunday reset is being like, I want this to be Sabbath like, and Sabbath looks different for everyone. And
Yes.
again, grace upon grace. I am a work in progress in this.
Yes.
I feel like for me, working is being on my computer, on my phone. And so I'm on social media, obviously, because that's my full-time job.
Yeah.
But for me, the Sabbath and the rest looks like doing things outside with my family, being off my devices.
Mm.
So a lot of times Sunday for me, I'm Sunday resetting by having time away. We're typically going to church in the morning.
Mhm.
Eric and everybody in the family knows we're going to come home, we're going to eat lunch at home, and then
Mhm.
Heather is probably going to disappear for an hour to 2 hours, depending on the season.
Yeah.
And I might spend the first 10 minutes or the first 5 minutes just being still and quiet and being like, okay, Lord, what went really well last week? Where did I really struggle last week? What do you need to
Mhm.
reset in me? Where am I falling short? And did I overbook us? That is a common problem.
Yeah.
3, I will raise my hand.
100%. Yes. I get
Did I
that.
overbook us? Have I booked in enough space for this week to allow for rest for me, for Eric? And I'm kind of just like getting on the same page with the Lord. And I
Yeah.
feel like without that foundation to direct me in the Sunday reset, it's all for naught because you
Mm-hmm.
can get really controlling with it and very like, I've got it perfect, da 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 da. But at the end of the day, it is just hear me say again, grace upon grace. It is so different for every single family. And your Sunday reset may be on a Monday or a Friday if you work at the
Ah.
church and you're off on Fridays. But
Mm-hmm.
it's finding rhythms that work well in your life to set you up for the week ahead for a healthy mind, body, and spirit for you and your family.
Oh, that's beautiful. And that just aligns us with each other so much. And that's why I love that you brought in that marriage as a part of it too, that you're connecting. And I even heard you say earlier, you check in with your husband. This isn't like, here's your list. This is what you have to do, little boy. I'm mom. It's more like, I mean, we've all done that at
He would
moments,
die. He'd be
right?
like,
Accessories
no.
of five, right? Exactly. So there's no point in even trying that at that point. But I just think that I've even learned that with my husband being a compliant type one, that even so, he still wouldn't like that. He needs to be, even if he says he would like that, he needs to be approached as like, because he wouldn't. Anyone who knows my husband knows he would not like that at all. But he's like, oh no, I just want to be told what to do. No, not by me. Unless one thing, he does like to be told to work out because he feels guilty to do that. But I will be like, oh, it's a great time. I'm going to work out. This would be an awesome time for you if you want to do it too. But like, I hear you saying connect. Do not just
Yes.
manage this and then push it on your spouse. I love that. And now everyone just wants to follow you for so many more tips on healthy eating and fitness and balancing. Where can they find you, Heather? This has been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, if you go over to Healthy by Heather Brown podcast, I'm on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. And I've talked a lot about the Sunday reset on there and the ways that we're healthy in mind, body, and spirit. And my husband and I even did a whole season on a healthy marriage and what that looks like.
Oh,
So you guys will have to go check it out because I know because of Krista's podcast, that's right up y'all's alley. And then go to healthybyheatherbrown.com. And I have several free, easy, 7 ingredient or less, healthy, good recipes on there, free meal plans for y'all to start with. And hopefully, if I can hold your hand with that free resource, then it can help you kind of kickstart into your own meal planning journey and also Sunday resetting.
Oh, I love that because, like I said, I need new ideas right now. So I'm heading back over there. I've already printed some of your beautiful printables. Thank you. And then where can they
Yay.
find you on Instagram too?
Yeah, great question. I'm at Healthy by Heather Brown on Instagram, on X, YouTube, anywhere you can find me. It's gonna be Healthy by Heather Brown, and I just love connecting with women. So please DM me if you heard this and have any questions or want to talk any more about what it looks like to be healthy in mind, body, and spirit. And I want to read this verse in closing. It's Mark 12:30-31. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. And the second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. And I know as women and as moms, it can be so hard. And we want to pour from an empty cup and we want to keep giving. But the Lord has also called us to take care of ourselves, the
Mm.
whole temple that He created, mind, body, and spirit. And so I just want to encourage you to start doing that daily, even if it's like in 10-second increments to start. It matters and it adds up.
Thank you. Everyone needed to hear that. Like, that is as you love yourself. Everyone needed to hear that you're allowed to take care of your body. Thank you so much for giving us that reminder, that sweetness, the fun. I love the laughter you brought too. I know you bring that on your pod and the realness. Thank you so much, Heather. Beautiful time with you.
It was a joy. Thank you, Krista.
Guys, Heather is amazing. I can see why her podcast and page are so successful. She is knocking it out of the park because she's using her 3 gifts, but she's also really leaning into her deeper gift of rest. And I hope you do that this week. We all have the potential for a 3. You don't have to be a 3 to use that goal getting. So think of one thing you're going to take from today's episode, and I want you to really allow yourself to be stirred by it, to use it up well, and to truly go out and share it in the world. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you again for listening with us. It was so wonderful to have you. I love knowing we're doing this journey together, not perfectly, but with love, grace, and hopefully some fun too. If you loved today's episode, make sure you leave us a 5-star review at Apple Podcast or Spotify so others can find it too. Visit our show notes so you can get all the links from today's show, as well as enneagramandmarriage.com, the Instagram, the Facebook, and all over the place. Make sure you spread the word. Love living intentionally with you. Bye-bye.